Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name's
Mhm.
Eloisa Ramos, and I'm here with my friend Connie.
Hello.
So, we are continuing with the study of the text of A Course in Miracles. We are starting chapter 20, the Vision of Holiness. And that's a very good, let's see, way to start since we were just talking about looks. So, let's see what, what, what this is going to explain to us here. And and let's see, gift us with clarity. Um, okay, section 1, the Holy Week. Let's see. Okay, paragraph 1. This is Palm Sunday, the celebration of victory and the acceptance of the truth. Let us not spend this holy week brooding on the crucifixion of God's Son, but happily in the celebration of his release. For Easter is the sign of peace, not pain. A slain Christ has no meaning, but a risen Christ becomes the symbol of the Son of God's forgiveness on himself. The sign he looks upon himself as healed and whole. Okay, so this is giving us a Holy Spirit interpretation of the celebration that a lot of Christians, um, let's see, embark on. And it's Palm Sunday, which is, let's see, if I can remember. This is when Jesus came to Jerusalem, I think. Um, but it says, let us not spend this Holy Week brooding on the crucifixion of God's Son. Okay, but happily in the celebration of his release.
Release.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Um, so the crucifixion has to do with body identity, um, because only a body could have been crucified on a, wooden cross, right? It's not,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, spirit cannot be crucified. It's not material. Um, so so this is the reinterpretation of the Holy Spirit, okay? Because Easter is a sign of peace and not pain. So, um, so the celebration has to do with the release of our body identity, which is, limiting. It is a belief in birth and death, and it entails, lack and scarcity and suffering. So it's all about pain. But the release from that would be peace. And remember that health is inner peace. So that's why it's referring to in the last in line 5 here, as the sign he looks upon himself as healed and whole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when we look at ourselves as a body, we don't see ourselves as, um, let's see, we see ourselves as separate from others.
Yeah.
So we are still believing in the separation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so by believing that we are a separate ego body, we're going to believe that we have accomplished the separation from everything, from wholeness. So we will struggle with ideas of being incomplete, being insufficient, being lacking, being unworthy, ideas of scarcity, ideas of not being good enough. We were talking about looks, right? Not being attractive enough, not being, let's see, liked enough, not being. So it's all a belief of not wholeness. Um, yeah. So wholeness would undo all of those thoughts because all of those are part of the ego thought system. So a risen Christ becomes the symbol of the Son of God's forgiveness on himself. And remember that forgiveness is for what my brother did not do. So if it's for myself, then it would be forgiveness for what I did not do. So I did not accomplish the separation. You see, so that never happened. So I am still as God created me, whole. So I'm not a body. So I am as God created me. Yeah. So, I mean, in those lessons, those repeat quite a bit. I'm not a body, I am free, for I am as God created me. So, yeah. Okay, number 2.
This week begins with palms and ends with lilies, the white and holy sign, the Son of God is innocent. Let no dark sign of crucifixion. I'm going to have to hold for a moment. Can you
I'll
hit
finish.
pause?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. Let me pause.
Lucas is. This week begins with palms and ends with lilies, the white and holy sign, the Son of God is innocent. Let no dark sign of crucifixion intervene between the journey and its purpose, between the acceptance of the truth and its expression. This week we celebrate life, not death, and we honor the perfect purity of the Son of God and not his sins. Offer your brother the gift of lilies, not the crown of thorns, the gift of love, and not the quote-unquote gift of fear. You stand beside your brother, thorns in one hand and lilies in the other, uncertain which to give. Join now with me and throw away the thorns, offering the lilies to replace them. This Easter I would have the gift of your forgiveness offered by you to me and returned by me to you. We cannot be unified in crucifixion and in death, nor can the resurrection be complete till your forgiveness rests on Christ along with mine.
Okay. Yes. So, I mean, Christ is basically our brother. So Christ is in all of our brothers. Right? So it's the idea of, what do we want to offer? Because that's basically what we're going to receive. What we give, we receive. Is it love or fear? So this is the lilies. The lilies is the recognition that, I'm forgiving my brother for what he did not do. So it's innocence. You see, because I'm forgiving myself for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I want to receive from my brothers too. Right? I don't want to be blamed or condemned or made guilty or really like what's the word? Or attacked for, making errors or mistakes or whatever. I mean, yeah, so we have that power, that ability to offer our brother the gift of lilies and not the crown of thorns. The gift of love and not the gift of fear, quote unquote gift. Yeah, so it says, join now with me and throw away the thorns, offering the lilies to replace them. So you could say that, Jesus forgave the thorns because he was crucified. So he was given the thorns, but he
Mhm.
forgave them. He didn't, you know, mm,
You didn't hold a grudge.
that's right. That's right. So he chose love, basically. And that's what he's teaching, right?
Mhm.
And that's what, God is. Our source is eternal love. So to really recognize the truth of what we are, we have to practice the forgiveness, because in practicing the forgiveness, we are recognizing what we are,
Mhm.
which is love,
Mhm.
eternal love. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, number 3. Let's see. A week is short, and yet this Holy Week is the symbol of the whole journey the Son of God has undertaken.
Mhm.
He started with the sign of victory, the promise of the resurrection already given him. Let him not wander into the temptation of crucifixion and delay him there. Help him to go in peace beyond it, with the light of his own innocence lighting his way to his redemption and release. Hold him not back with thorns and nails when his redemption is so near, but let the whiteness of your shining gift of lilies speed him on his way to resurrection. Um, okay, so the Holy Week is a symbol of the whole journey the Son of God has undertaken. So it's interesting that it says that he started with the sign of victory, the promise of the resurrection.
In this week?
Well, it's Easter week. I mean, we're
Yeah,
not, we're
right,
celebrating the Easter week. So
right.
so it's the promise of resurrection, okay, already given him. So the journey is really about um, the remembering or the resurrection of the truth of what we are, right?
Mm.
Innocent, holy, whole, complete, not a body, but free, um, as God created me, which is eternal spirit. So the promise of the resurrection is the awareness of the truth. Okay.
Mm.
And but what happens is, we wander into temptation of crucifixion. So we wander into the belief that we are bodies and can be crucified and suffer pain, which entails believing that the separation happened. And that's what time is, and delay him there. Okay, so the journey, the spiritual journey, is the waking up from time, the delay in time, where we seem to be a body or an ego personality that is separate from others and our source. That's the dream. That's the temptation. That's the mind asleep.
Mhm.
Okay. And the prayer here is help him to go in peace beyond it, with the light of his own innocence, lighting his way to his redemption and release. Right. So the journey is to, be of help to others in this journey, um, with the recognition of our own light, which is our own recognition of our innocence, of not having accomplished separation, of there not being a separation, of us being the same, not separate, not different, not bodies, not egos. Yeah. So you could almost say that when we go into fear or when we go into, blame or condemnation, we are falling asleep
Mhm.
and having a nightmare of something that didn't happen, but believing that it did. And then seemingly we're experiencing the effects of that thought system. Just like in a dream, whatever the dream is, we seem to be experiencing it.
Mhm.
Whether we're stuck in a desert and then we wake up and we're sweating, because we got too many blankets on or whatever, you know. Um, so yeah, I think uh, it's remembering that the mind is, let's see, is the dreamer of the dream, basically. And so, and and so then we don't take the dream seriously because we start to become aware even in the dream. Like at night, you can sometimes begin to be aware that, wait a minute, there's something
Mhm.
that, I'm not going to believe this, like this is not, yeah, sometimes in the dreams, you can almost tell, you can almost have the awareness in the dream that you're dreaming, right? It's like almost like
Mhm.
lucid dreaming.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so you don't take it seriously, you just like, oh, come on, you know, crocodiles in the park, there's no crocodiles here, kind of thing. But that, yeah, that kind of awareness. Okay, number 4.
Easter is not the celebration of the cost of sin, but of its end. If you see glimpses of the face of Christ behind the veil, looking between the snow-white petals of the lilies you have received and given as your gift, you will behold your brother's face and recognize it. I was a stranger, and you took me in, not knowing who I was. Yet, for your gift of lilies, you will know. In your forgiveness of this stranger, alien to you and yet your ancient friend, lies his release and your redemption with him. The time of Easter is a time of joy and not of mourning. Look on your risen friend and celebrate his holiness along with me, for Easter is the time of your salvation along with mine.
Okay, so the resurrection, I mean, it's the end of the idea of sin, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. Because when we think of the crucifixion or when we think of pain, we think that that's a form of punishment,
Mm-hmm.
right? And punishment means that you've sinned somehow and are deserving of punishment and not deserving of love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that would be the end of that idea. Because, when you think about deserving, right? Who is the one that's judging? Who is deserving to be able to say, well, that's a sin. And, and that is, I mean, I guess it's a collective. Culturally, you can decide uh, that some things are, not, let's see. Well, before you can even kind of label something as sin, you almost have to believe that that punishment can change or can be an answer to a problem.
Right.
Yeah, which means that we would have to value suffering and pain.
Mm.
You see that?
Yeah.
So how are we going to let go of the pain and the suffering if we are using it?
Well, we can't.
We can't because we're giving it value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keeping it stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. The only way is through forgiveness.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm. It is interesting to think of that punishment, and we think, yeah, we think it's
Yeah.
going to do something.
Well, yes, we think that, I mean, we have it associated with safety of all
Yeah.
things, right? Yeah. And so, when you believe that suffering and pain, and of course you think it's for somebody other than you, otherwise you wouldn't buy into that idea, right? So that's where the belief in separation is, between myself and my brother. Yeah. Because I would say, well, for my own safety, you need to be punished. Okay. But would I say, well, for your safety, I need to be punished?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would mean that I already believe that I somehow have no, what's the word, that I have lost my free will, right? Because it would mean that I would somehow be compelled or have no control over, attack, right?
Hmm.
Because there's a distrust there, right? If I feel that punishment is justified, then I believe that there's something already there that is dark, and I'm going to have to believe in evil, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's wrong.
I'm gonna have to believe that there's something that's greater than God and can attack God. So that's the belief in sin. So it's like a loop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm, yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's the introduction of the section 1. So next time we're gonna go to section 2, the gift of the lilies.
Hey.
Okay. All right. Until next time. Any questions before we go?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.